You have that one friend who's never on Instagram. No TikTok, no Facebook updates. You hang out with them, you genuinely have a great time, and then nothing. No photo, no story, no "had the best night with these people" caption. It's like the whole thing just disappeared into real life, and sometimes you find yourself wondering, are they okay? Are they hiding something? Do they just not care? Most people assume that if someone isn't posting, something must be off. Either they're going through something, they're antisocial, or they think they're better than everyone else. We live in a culture where visibility basically equals validation. So when someone opts out of that entirely, it comes across as weird or sad or even suspicious. But honestly, that's not what's really happening. Not even close. Because psychology tells a very different story. Choosing to keep your life off social media isn't avoidance. For a lot of people, it's actually one of the most self-aware choices they can make, and the reasons behind it go much deeper than, "I just don't like posting." If this sounds like you, if you're the person your friends have to tag because you'd never post yourself, if you feel genuinely uncomfortable when someone records a moment without asking, if sharing feels like too much, then keep watching, because this one is about you. So today we're breaking down the psychology of people who don't share their lives on social media. What's really going on underneath that choice? What does it say about the way they process the world, and why might it actually be a sign of something healthy? Here's the first thing to understand. For a lot of people who don't post, there's a deep psychological need to keep certain experiences whole. Think about it. When you take a photo of something, the moment it happens, you shift from experiencing it to documenting it. You're no longer fully inside the moment. You're observing it, framing it, preparing it for an audience. And for some people, that shift feels like a loss. Like the experience gets diluted the second it becomes content. They want to eat the meal, not photograph it. They want to laugh with their friends without wondering how they'll caption it later. That instinct to protect the realness of a moment is actually a form of emotional intelligence. Now here's where it gets interesting. There's a psychological concept called self-concept clarity, the degree to which a person has a stable, clear, and internally consistent sense of who they are. Research shows that people with high self-concept clarity tend to be less influenced by external feedback. They don't need likes to confirm their experience was real. They don't need engagement to validate their choices. In other words, they already know who they are, and social media, with its constant performance loop, doesn't really add anything to that. But that's only part of the story, because for some people, it goes even deeper than self-assurance. There's also something happening around privacy as a form of psychological safety. When you grow up in an environment where your personal information was used against you, where being visible meant being criticized, controlled, or exposed, you learn quickly that keeping things private helps you stay safe. It's not always conscious, but the instinct to hold your life close, to share selectively, to protect your inner world often traces back to early experiences that taught you that visibility comes at a cost, and that can carry real emotional weight. There can be a quiet loneliness in that. You watch everyone celebrate publicly and wonder why you can't just do the same. Why it feels so uncomfortable to let people in, even in small digital ways. You might second-guess yourself. You might wonder if something is wrong with you for not wanting to perform your own life. But here's the strange part. That discomfort isn't a flaw. It's information. It's your nervous system telling you what feels authentic to you and what doesn't. It's not random. It's a signal. But here's the reframe. People who don't share their lives publicly often develop something rare, a deeply internal relationship with their own experiences. They actually process what happens to them. They don't outsource their emotions to comment sections or reactions. They sit with life, the good moments and the difficult ones, and they work through it slowly. That kind of reflection builds real self-awareness. the kind that doesn't need an audience to feel real or complete. And let's be honest about the cultural pressure here. In America especially, there's this unspoken rule that a life worth living is a life worth showing. Hustle culture tells you to post your wins. Wellness culture tells you to document your progress. Travel culture tells you to share every view. The message is everywhere, all the time. If you didn't post it, did it even happen? That pressure is exhausting. It doesn't just sit in the background. It builds up. And for people who already feel overstimulated by constant digital noise, social media doesn't feel like connection. It feels like a job they never applied for, but somehow still have to perform. Picture this. It's a quiet Sunday morning. You're sitting by your kitchen window holding a cup of coffee. The light is actually beautiful, soft, calm, real. And the moment you think about taking a photo, about writing something meaningful to go with it, the feeling breaks. It disappears. So instead, you just sit there. Just you and the moment. And somehow, that's enough. That's not sad. That's not missing out. That's actually rare. Now, and this part matters, sometimes pulling away from social media does come from a heavier place. Depression can make everything feel pointless, including sharing. Shame can make you want to hide parts of your life. Anxiety can make you afraid of being judged, even in small ways. If you're not posting because your life feels like something you need to hide, or because you're slowly disappearing from everything, not just social media, that's something worth paying attention to. So the real question is this: are you protecting your private life because it feels right? Because it keeps your experiences real and your energy intact? Or are you pulling back because something feels too heavy to bring into the light? Both are valid starting points, but they lead to very different outcomes. And if it's the first one, you're not weird. You're not antisocial. You're not behind the times. Your brain might just be wired to experience life more internally. And there's nothing wrong with that. These are usually the people who remember conversations in detail, who show up fully present because they're not half distracted thinking about their next post, who have a rich internal world that most people never even see because it was never meant to be shared with everyone. Psychologists sometimes describe this as high private self-consciousness. It means having a strong awareness of your inner thoughts, emotions, and internal states, combined with a preference to keep that world protected. It's not coldness. It's not distance. It's depth. So I want to know, are you someone who rarely posts or someone who documents everything? Drop it in the comments. And if you know someone like this, tag them. They probably won't post this themselves. If you're interested in understanding the hidden psychology behind everyday behavior, subscribe. New videos every week. And next time, we're diving into the psychology of people who always need to have the last word. Why they do it, what's really driving it, and what it actually says about how they see themselves.